After 8 months of love and chaos, my girlfriend's anxiety grows, leading to coldness and emotional distance. I just don't feel as in October, she said, leaving me lost. With her uncommunicative behavior hitting breaking points, am I wasting my time? In October of last year, I, 35 male, entered into a relationship with my current girlfriend, 26 female. We have known each other for 2 years and have always had a very good connection, sharing jokes and moments and constantly messaging each other. It was pleasant. At the time, we were both in separate relationships, and since I am a temporary contractor, things did not start out in a conventional manner. Last year, at some point, she began asking questions regarding our future together. Somehow, that gave me the confidence to hold her hand during a movie date. She responded by holding my arm, and together we embarked on this journey. She has attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and likely other behavioral issues. Her father committed suicide when she was a child, her brother is autistic, and he has attempted suicide twice, which increases her anxiety. Additionally, her mother is terminally ill and she is now also a caregiver. Her father holds great significance in her life. Her profile picture is an old photo of her as a child with him. When I shared a list of important dates in our love story, she pointed out that I had overlooked the most significant one, which was her father's date of death. That provides some context about her background. Furthermore, we both work at the same organization and experience a very busy work period between January and April, which is now winding down. She is also pursuing studies. Here are some key events in chronological order. For 1 month, everything felt like a dream. We made future plans and bucket lists and could hardly wait to see each other, texting each other throughout the day. We were completely in love and shared the news of our relationship with our families during the first week. Nobody was surprised, given our bond, and they had already been making jokes about us for some time. While we made a bucket list of future plans, she told me that she did not see me as just a boyfriend but had begun to realize that perhaps she had found the one without even realizing it. We reminisced about past moments that hinted at our feelings for each other, and it felt special. Then the problems began. During our first weeks at the office, I received a friend request on Facebook. I did not recognize who it was initially and later realized it was a mutual friend of my girlfriend's, one of her ex-boyfriends she had mentioned. I saw a public photo of the two of them together, misunderstood the date, and thought it was from 2023 instead of 2021, which made me suspicious that she was not being truthful. I messaged her about what I had seen and I became distant. When she called, I did not answer. Eventually, I realized my mistake, called her back, apologized, and she said she had stopped crying and everything was fine. Our first unofficial date was at a casino. At the roulette table, she mentioned that her ex always bets on zero. I felt overwhelmed as it seemed strange to mention an ex on a first date with your boyfriend. I fell silent and my facial expression changed. She noticed and asked what was wrong. I expressed that it was unnecessary to talk about her ex, to which she apologized and we moved on. I forgot about it, but she apparently did not. In November, she received her master's degree diploma. I took her out to dinner, bought her a gift, and congratulated her. I officially asked her to be my girlfriend and she accepted. She appeared happy. We took our first weekend trip together to Berlin. Everything was great except for the morning after we woke up. She simply turned her back to me and started scrolling on her phone for 5, 10, then 15 minutes. At some point, I felt frustrated and asked if it wouldn't be better to cuddle, considering our limited time together. She agreed. I thought it was not an unusual question to pose. Months later, she brought it up as a point of conflict. I later realized that for someone with ADHD, needing alone time is significant, and I should have given her that space. However, she never mentioned this beforehand. There were many issues she did not communicate. During our drive back, I asked about her Christmas plans and dinner with her family. She mentioned that her brother would probably be working. Then December arrived. We had planned a long weekend trip. I wrote her a nice Christmas card. She sent me a voice message the day before, informing me that her mother had broken her hand and she had to cancel our plans. I told her that sometimes such things happen and that she should focus on her mom and studies, assuring her I would be there for her. The next day, I visited to console her and suggested that it would be nice to take a day out to visit a Christmas market. That was when she opened up to me for the first time. The evening before, I had asked her what time I should arrive, given that she visits her mom every morning. She did not specify a time. I asked again because I wanted to swim beforehand and needed to know a time frame. Again, she did not mention a specific time and said I could come whenever I was ready. I told her I would arrive around 11:00 to 11:30 and would send her a message when I left. I ended up getting home later than expected. It was already around 11:30, and as I was getting ready, my phone was on WhatsApp. Meanwhile, she had messaged me twice to ask if I was on my way. I did not see her messages, busy as I was, and when I got on the road, I sent her a voice message. At approximately 11:45, I noticed her messages. When I arrived, she had put on meditation music. The day went well, but during the drive back, she asked if I had noticed that she had turned off her WhatsApp status. I had not noticed, and then she asked if we could talk. When we got home, she began to cry, expressing that she felt stressed because I hadn't answered her. She said it caused her anxiety when I was online but didn't respond to her messages, which triggered her negative thinking. She suggested that disabling last seen and online features would help her. I was taken aback but did not argue. I told her she should do that if it would help her, and I consoled her. She received my Christmas card and was happy with it, feeling warmed by my gesture. January came and it was our busy season. I sat down with her and explained that it would be challenging. With both of us working hard and accruing a lot of overtime, we were stressed. We agreed to dedicate at least one day a week to maintaining our relationship. She admitted to relying on her friends during the busy season and mentioned that she had stopped exercising. I wanted to tell her that working so much was unhealthy, but I did not want to interfere. I let it slide. Fridays became our time together, when she would come over after studying and stay overnight. In early January, we had an additional date on a Monday. I bought her 2 gifts she had liked during our Christmas trip. She was very happy with them and we enjoyed ourselves. A couple of weeks later, she returned a gift to me, which made me happy. However, from that point onward, things became more challenging. I have never been the type of person who expresses emotions frequently like most men. The Christmas card was one of the few times I did. I was preparing a scrapbook filled with our story from the beginning, alongside our future activities and everything I loved about her. I intended to give it to her as a Valentine's Day present. I asked if she could reserve time in her schedule for Valentine's Day and her birthday. She told me that Valentine's Day was not significant to her. I just wanted to show her extra love and attention, but after preparing something special in my mind, her reaction felt off. I questioned her and she felt attacked, which led to some verbal conflict. We agreed to do something together but avoid anything commercial. I changed my mind and bought her something else, redesignating the scrapbook as a birthday gift instead. The dynamic began to shift. I stopped sending many affectionate emojis and so did she. We started texting less, with most of the communication coming from my end. Eventually, I became frustrated and decided not to text her at all. She did not contact me for 4 days, no messages, neither on WhatsApp nor in our work chat. On that day I left the office and saw her outside. She was there for overtime. She had been careful around our colleagues and I was feeling cold, so I merely said hi and walked past her. She pulled me towards her and kissed me, which took me by surprise. I had not anticipated that. I messaged her on Teams to see if we could go home together, which was fine with her. Outside, she hugged me and mentioned that she was very tired from work, her mom's situation, and her studies. She was glad not to feel pressured to socialize with me. She explained that her social battery was drained and that she preferred not to message anyone at all. It felt better for her to not text and instead see me on Friday when things might feel better. I accepted that. She also mentioned that she had a commitment on Friday but had canceled it to spend time with me. That Friday we went out for dinner. This was about 3 weeks ago. I was fasting and we were running late. Her meal arrived but mine had not yet. She began eating without waiting for me. I expected her to share just one piece from her plate, but she did not. I felt really bad but did not comment on it. We walked home and spent a normal evening together. I asked if everything was okay. She replied that everything was fine, but our sex life was a significant issue. Our sexual relationship had not been satisfying. During our initial dates, she had been eager. She even allowed me to touch her in public places like movie theaters and cars. We had deliberately waited to have sex, but when we finally did, I struggled to climax due to time constraints. Although we engaged in sexting up to that point, she did not exhibit the same enthusiasm in the bedroom. I told her that I enjoyed foreplay and oral sex. However, we rarely engaged in foreplay. She performed oral sex for me the first time and months later when I asked. Yet in bed, she communicated a distant demeanor, expecting me to become aroused without any stimulation, have sex, and then leave. That behavior, combined with ongoing relationship issues, her coldness, and the fact that we only had sex on Fridays after a long workweek and under stress, complicated matters further. I often found it difficult to maintain an erection after penetration. Sometimes I struggled to get hard at all. I never thought she saw that as a problem until she mentioned it. I recognized it as an issue, but I was hoping that once the busy season ended and stress was alleviated, things would improve. The day after, I texted her to see how she was doing, and she replied indicating that she had resolved everything she was planning, sending me a love emoji and a sticker of us together. She greeted me with a casual "Hee, good, and how about yourself?" At that moment, I felt a breaking point. She had never addressed me in such a manner. It sounded more like she was speaking to a friend than a romantic partner. A couple of weeks prior, I had accidentally called her by her name, prompting her to ask me not to do that anymore as it felt peculiar to her. I remembered this incident. I wanted to avoid reacting with anger, so I simply said "he." She responded that I had added an extra "e." This reaction felt very odd to me. I said, "Oops, my bad," and then called her by name. She read my message but did not respond. The following morning, I sent her a lengthy text conveying my unhappiness, how cold I felt, and how emotionally distant she had been, stating that I hardly knew she cared about me. She suggested we should discuss this in person rather than through WhatsApp, questioning why I thought she didn't care since she was my girlfriend. We had a discussion without reaching any conclusions. She again said she felt stressed that she couldn't message me without further elaboration while I explained my perspective, yielding no results. The next day I texted her expressing that I wanted to see her. I visited her home on Thursday evening. She expressed her unhappiness, stating that this was not how a relationship should be. She felt a continuous burden of stress from everything. She was uncertain about the future and almost felt no romantic attraction anymore. She said she did not feel the same as she did in October. We did not reach any resolution. She kissed me goodbye. That night, I sent her a message once I returned home, and she responded in the middle of the night, noting that she had exams on Tuesday and had been studying. I told her I felt awful and that we could discuss things after her exam. She texted that it was better not to come on Friday since she didn't feel comfortable and needed to study, and I responded that it was okay. I assured her that I would not disturb her until Tuesday, and I kept that promise. That Sunday evening, she sent a message to check if I was okay and how work had been. Mentally, I was really struggling during those 3 days. I felt completely broken. I called her, and when she answered, I told her that I was feeling very low and needed to talk. I went to her house, bringing the scrapbook I had made for her birthday. I poured out my feelings, how much I loved her, how anxious I had felt during the start of our relationship, how deep my feelings for her were, and all the things I had not expressed that were written in the scrapbook. She reacted rather coldly, asking why I had not expressed these feelings in the last 3 months and contrasting this version of me with the person she had known for 2 years who was calm and indifferent. She said she needed time to process everything. I left the scrapbook with her, reiterating that my feelings had always been there, I just struggled to convey them. She indicated that she would read it after her exams. In the days that followed, we communicated on work-related matters, engaging in typical small talk. Both of us were busy, and I found myself wondering what she would decide. I asked if she wanted anything special for Friday, to which she replied that she didn't need anything and would call me after her studies. I anticipated a breakup, but she did not end the relationship. Instead, she told me that she didn't feel well enough to come over and sleep at my place, explaining that she could not pretend as if nothing was wrong. I understood her perspective and reminded her that we had 3 options: break up, take a break, or meet to discuss it. She claimed a breakup would be too harsh at that point, stating she needed time to heal and reflect. We had a productive conversation, joking at times, and everything felt okay. We understood each other. I assured her that I would not bother her and asked if we could still chat. She agreed that light small talk now and then was fine, and I decided to give her space. On Monday, she was also at the office, which happens to be this Monday. Her behavior felt unusual. She saw me twice but retreated without saying hi. I was heartbroken. Although we could have problems, her avoidance felt very wrong. While getting coffee that morning, she emerged from her room and I noticed her in the mirror. She made eye contact before quickly retreating. It made me feel miserable. Later, during a meeting with others, she passed by and waved at me, prompting me to smile in return. A while later, I was in a meeting room alone when she came to the pantry to grab some fruit. I saw her hesitate to approach me and then walk back. It felt strange. I messaged her for the first time that day, mentioning I noticed her hesitance and that she could join me in the meeting. She replied that she hadn't seen me and was merely picking up fruit. That seemed odd, given the distance of only 2 meters. Subsequently, she walked past our meeting room with her team and did not even glance my way. We had mutual friends in my team, but she did not stop in our room to say hello. Even my colleagues found her behavior strange. I felt disheartened. Frustrated, I decided to ask her for an explanation. I approached her room to ask if we could talk. We spoke, and I informed her that the situation felt awkward. While she agreed, she did not provide an explanation. I inquired about what she meant by needing time because I did not want to remain in such a tense situation for months. She indicated that she just wanted my deadline to conclude, which is this week, and her own deadline finishing on Thursday, after which she wanted to reflect over the weekend, which was also her birthday. I accepted that, acknowledging my concern for her well-being and health. Even if we broke up, I would still care about her. She confided that everything felt overwhelming and started crying. I comforted her and apologized for any distress I caused, reiterating that it was not my intention. She said she had been fine until she saw me, but now her day had turned sour again. We then parted ways. Afterward, I discussed the situation with my colleagues. One of them had also witnessed me hugging her. They remarked that she did not need to behave childishly, that she should have approached me and at least said hello. I concurred. Conflicts can happen and she can feel down, but I have never yelled at her, insulted her, or threatened her. Her conduct was akin to how one would act towards someone they harbor resentment for. I initially sent her a message, later deleted it, and then recorded a voice message that night expressing my frustration at her behavior and sharing my concerns. She did not receive it as she had already gone to bed. Regretting my decision, I deleted those messages. The next morning, she inquired about what I had deleted. I explained that I had felt upset the day before and reacted, but I then realized it was unnecessary to act out of emotion. We should take a calm approach and talk. She did not read my message. During that time, I refrained from messaging her via our work chat, and she likewise did not message me. She may have been upset or focused on her assignments. Her relationship with social media is peculiar. During busy periods, she only checks her messages in the morning and before bed, even going to the extent of putting herself out of the office during workdays to concentrate. I am unsure whether this is linked to her ADHD, but we have not communicated since Monday. I feel mentally drained. Her behavior has left me feeling unwell. Monday felt like a line had been crossed. Engaging in an adult conversation on Friday and witnessing such immature behavior 3 days later is disconcerting. I feel lost. I am uncertain about my feelings, my thoughts, and how to address this if she refuses to communicate. Part of me thinks we should break up and walk away, while another part believes the situation has arisen from a breakdown in communication, lack of time, and external pressures that affected both of our behavior. Our communication during our brief friendship was excellent, and the feelings we had in October felt genuine. I genuinely do not know what to think, what she will do, or how I should respond. I simply need some general advice regarding her behavior and reasons, as well as what steps I should take.